Welcome to the amazing world.
Today we are going to learn about the civil war that took place in Russia after the October Revolution of 1917. A civil war, a war within the country and not from external sources. So let us see how the civil war was fought in Russia during the period from 1918 to 1919. The Bolsheviks were in power by 1918. The Bolsheviks had formed a one-party state and were in power, but their attitudes kept changing. And though they controlled only Petrograd, Moscow, and few cities by this time, but the way their attitudes kept changing, the others, the non-Bolsheviks, the socialists, the liberals, and the supporters of the autocracy were condemning the way the Bolsheviks were coming to power, and they did not want them to come to power, and they controlled more areas. But the Bolsheviks were known as the Red Army. The Green Army were the socialist revolutionaries who supported the peasants, and the pro-Tsarists were the White Army, those who supported autocracy. Now, we notice that the pro-Tsarist and the Green Army or the White Army formed one team because they formed one team and fought a war against the Red Army, which came to be known as a civil war because all these three armies are from within the country. And if you notice, as I told you, the Bolsheviks had control of Petrograd, Moscow, and a few cities, even though they were in power by dissolving the assembly. But the Green Army, that is the socialist revolutionaries, and the White Army, the pro-Tsarist autocracy, controlled most of the Russian Empire at this time. And as a result, they were supported by outsiders. Now, who were these outsiders? Were the troops of France, America, Britain, and Japan. Now, why did they want to support or back this civil war? Was that they were fearing that socialist ideas would spread to the world because they all were a capitalist society and they did not want the socialist ideas or the communist ideas to spread in the world. And as a result, they supported the White and the Green Army. But even though they supported them in Russia during this time, the war had spread so much that there was looting, banditry, and famine. Famine had become a very constant thing in Russia, and this all resulted in the civil war that was taking place between 1918 and 1919. Now you will be wondering, where is the army? The Bolshevik is such a strong army. Where is the army to crush this civil war? Do you remember that the April thesis and the changes that came about were the reasons for where was the army? The civil war has broken out, and we are asking, where is the army? The Bolshevik consists of a large army. Where is the army? We realize that as per the April thesis and after the October Revolution, the Bolsheviks had told the peasants that they can go and collect the land. Redistribution of land is taking place, and so the Bolshevik army had lot of peasants, and as a result, the army started disintegrating. People started leaving, peasants started leaving and going back to collect the land that was being distributed to them by the Bolsheviks. This was the situation of the Red Army. What was the situation in the Green and the White Army was that the White Army, the pro-Tsarists, were now among them. There were those private property owners, and they took harsh steps against the peasants who seized their land after the October Revolution. So, in other words, from one army, the peasants were going back to the villages to get their land. On the other side, those who had taken their land were now forced to leave the ones they were supporting and move to the other side. As the civil war continues, the non-Bolsheviks lost the popular support from the peasants, especially in the White Army. But the Bolsheviks are now cooperating with the non-Russian nationalists and the Muslim judges whom they felt would come to their side. And so the Bolsheviks are becoming a very strong army. And by January 1920, the Bolsheviks control most of the former Russian Empire. So now it is not Petrograd and Moscow and the cities around it, but more of the old Russian Empire is under the control of the Red Army or the Bolsheviks. Even though they had gained power, brought the non-Russian nationalists, the Muslim Zadists, and even those from the White Army to join them and form most of Russia in their empire in their hands. Now they went about to a part in Central Asia, Kiev. In this part of Russia, they went and started massacring the local nationalists, saying that they are defending socialism. And this created a doubt among the people who supported them. What are the objectives of the Bolsheviks? One time we are supporting them, the other side they are killing us. But the Bolsheviks also realized their mistake. And so in December 1922, when they created the Soviet Russia, what we know as USSR, from the Russian Empire, we come to know that now they are making amendments. Now, how are they making these amendments? Is that the non-Russian nationalists were given political autonomy. Okay, to some extent, we will let you select your leader for your nationality, whereas you are all part of our one Soviet Russia. This was what the Bolsheviks said to the non-Russian nationalists. But was that done with them to regain power? Yes, they regained power, but still they continued their atrocities of harsh policies and now came with discouragement of nomadism. They did not allow the nomads. We know nomads are nothing but wandering people. Now they discourage these people from moving from one place to another. So these things, so the harsh policies of the Bolsheviks continue even though they regained power in Russia during this time. To summarize the civil war, the non-Bolshevik socialists, liberals, supporters of autocracy condemned the Red or the Bolshevik uprising. During 1918 and 1919, the Greens, that is the socialist revolutionaries, the Whites, the pro-Tsarists, controlled most of the Russian Empire. The French, American, British, and Japanese troops backed and supported as they were worried about the growth of socialism in Russia. A civil war had broken out between the troops and the Bolsheviks. The Russian army had begun to break up as land redistribution was ordered. The supporters of private property among the whites took harsh steps with peasants who had seized their land. Non-Bolsheviks lost popular support from peasants. The Bolsheviks cooperated with the non-Russian nationalists and the Muslim Zaydis. By January 1920, the Bolsheviks controlled most of former Russian Empire. The incident in Khiva, Central Asia, where the Bolsheviks massacred local nationalists in the name of defending socialism. In December 1922, the Bolsheviks created Soviet Russia from the Russian Empire, and to make amendments for their mistakes against the non-Russian nationalities were now given political autonomy by the Bolsheviks. But in the harsh policies continued, that is, discouragement of nomadism. Thank you and see you in the next video.